again, and welcome to my 6th Thought for the Day talk for the Estuary Church Group, and once again it concerns my cello. About the time that I had been playing for about a year, a new song was introduced to our church. It was by Tim Hughes and it was called Consuming Fire. It contains the line, "Consuming fire, fan into flame, a passion for your name." Some started to ask the question, what does it mean to have that kind of attitude? What exactly does passion look like? By this time it was obvious that I had developed a passion for the cello, a passion that still continues in case you haven't picked that up by now. So I was able to describe how I felt about the cello and relate that to what I think passion looks like in general and in relation to our love for Jesus. I had not realised quite how deeply my interest in the cello was affecting me until we had a church party where some of our people got together and produced a little pantomime called Gullible's Travels, very loosely based on the novel of a similar name. One of our ministers was depicted as the central character, but several other members of the leadership were also featured, highlighting their perceived characteristics. It was very amusing, particularly for those who were familiar with the characters portrayed. Then a lady character came on stage and started to talk. I can't remember who she represented in the story, but every sentence she spoke contained the word cello, sometimes 2 or 3 times. It was blatantly obvious this was a portrayal of me. Although amused, at first I was a bit shocked that my obsession had become so obvious. But then I realised that this was just one of the several aspects of passion. If you're really passionate about something, you think about it all the time. At any time of the day, I could not wait for the next opportunity to get on the cello and see what I could do with it. At night, I would wake up and be working out fingerings and imagining how I would play a particular melody. And inevitably, it was coming out in conversation. Whether I was out walking with my group or sharing a meal with friends, I would talk about cello to anyone who would listen, and probably to some who would rather not have done. I would play for anybody and with anybody. My passion for the cello was wholehearted and still is. Then there is the time factor. I thought I had a busy life in my pre-cello days. But when I realised how much time I needed to practice in order to improve, I somehow managed to find an extra couple of hours in the day. It was time I willingly gave in my desire to play. Add that to the time I spend on residential courses and it really begins to mount up. I don't resent it, as I sometimes tell people, we can always make time for the things we really want to do. And my passion for the cello makes me want to spend time on it. Then, if you're really passionate about something, you are prepared to make sacrifices for it, financial and otherwise. I had been given the cello, it cost me nothing. Then, as I said in an earlier talk, I thought I would teach myself to save the cost of lessons, which are quite expensive, but quickly found that that was a mistake. At my first lesson with my teacher, she examined my cello and pronounced that it would need some better strings and other parts. It would cost about £120. Hang on, I said, I don't even know yet whether I'm going to be able to play the thing. However, as you now know, I not only learnt to play it, but became very keen to get better at playing it, and getting those new strings, etc., really did make a difference. Since then, I have spent thousands on lessons, courses, music and equipment. I certainly would not have done that if I had not been very passionate about it. So if you want to know what passion looks like, talk to me about cello. And I have to confess, I am constantly challenged to compare that passion with my passion for Jesus. Am I so passionate about my relationship with Jesus that it fills my thoughts and conversation? Everyone who spends just a short time with me knows I play cello. Do they also know that I'm a Christian? It's a sobering thought. and one I have to ask myself on a regular basis in order to keep myself on the right track. Then what about time? How much time do I spend, not just on church activities and involvement, but actually with Jesus in prayer and communication with him? Again, it is something I am constantly challenging myself about. When someone says I am too busy to pray or to spend time with God, I wonder just where the passion went. Then what about sacrifice? Many people who have no association with church genuinely believe that church is provided by the government and putting £1 in the collection plate is for little extras like flowers in the building. When I tell them that all our costs, including the salaries of the minister, has to come from the giving of the people, they are amazed. But if you are really passionate about Jesus and want to support the church that helps you on your spiritual journey, you will be willing to make financial and other sacrifices. 2 Corinthians 9 verse 7 says, "Each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver." If our passion for Jesus is genuine, there will be no sense of reluctance or obligation, but a sense of joy that we can contribute in such a way to the object of our passion. And if you are reading this and are concerned that your passion for Jesus is not as overwhelming as it should be, then perhaps you need to use that song I mentioned as a prayer and sing, "Stir it up in my heart, Lord, a passion for your name." God bless you.